All right, everyone, welcome to Last Take. This is our Christmas episode. Me and Nick have on ugly sweaters. I don't know if maybe I'm being too corny with this, but I have an ugly sweater, and then I'm wearing a jersey or T-shirt. What do these call those? Like jerseys?
Jerseys.
Jerseys. I think I made up that word. Um, but I'm wearing the ugliest franchise in baseball, so it kind of doubles with the ugly sweater aspect. The Pirates are an absolute joke. So Merry Christmas to all Pirates fans and Happy Holidays.
No,
So,
honestly, they don't deserve it. They don't
oh
deserve
yeah,
it.
I'm sorry. Pittsburgh, great city, by the way. Great city, terrible baseball
Yeah, awful, awful.
team. Haven't been relevant since Roberto Clemente. Right up here, by the way. Go. We'll get into actual sports, sports that are going on right now. Biggest news out of this week was we'll start with the college football. The playoffs have been set. 1 seed Alabama, 2 seed Clemson, 3 seed Ohio State, 4 seed Notre Dame. I'll start with just saying this: Alabama is clearly the best team. I mean, obviously more than just being the number 1 seed. I think they've pretty much dominated this entire year. They're the best coach, most talented, and I know you want to make a point about Notre Dame, but it's rare that like the better team. And this just goes for college football in general. It's rare that like the better team like loses. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like happened in the NFL like it happened with the Jets this week. The Rams are the better team, obviously, but they lost. I feel like in college football that never happened. So I don't see a chance in hell of Notre Dame winning that game. Just based on the trends of football in the past and Alabama just being absolutely ridiculous this year. So rarely the better team loses. So obviously Alabama's going for it. You know, they're going to be the favorite, obviously, by a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you. Alabama's clearly the best team. I don't think there was anyone they could have put in this spot that really would have given them a great game. I mean, I know a lot of people wanted A&M just based off how their season's panned out so far. Um, I do just have a problem with it being Notre Dame. I know they just picked up their first loss on Saturday, but I feel like how many times we're going to do this song and dance where Notre Dame beats weaker opponents. You know, they obviously did beat Clemson, you know, when Trevor Lawrence was out a few weeks ago, but they're getting into the playoff for I don't know how many times this is now, just based off of a reputation they built with like Joe Montana 40 years ago. Like Notre Dame is not like obviously in college football you have Alabama, you have Clemson, you have Ohio State, who have been over the past 5-10 years clearly a cut above the rest. But Notre Dame is not in the same category of a lot of these other programs. Like I would have liked to see A&M get a shot, or just someone else that I think could have maybe given Alabama a little bit of a game. So I'm with you. Alabama wasn't losing to anybody, but I'm so sick of the Notre Dame bias, and I think they're going to get absolutely shellacked in this playoff.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. And it even goes past like just like giving like someone like Notre Dame like a chance to like be relevant again, because I feel like that's great for college football. People like it because there's so many like Fighting Irish fans that are loyal to them. So I feel like that's why they give them these chances. But my problem kind of starts with the whole format in general. If you only let 4 teams in the playoffs, it's like how like when you were like back in the days when there was just an AL and an NL pennant. There was like 4 teams, like like that was it. Like total. Like obviously the same teams are going to win every year. If you don't give any of these teams a chance to lose, they're always going to win. So like that's why like you always see Alabama, you always see Clemson, you always see the same 2 or 3 teams, Ohio State, like every single year. Like if you need to give like 6, 7, 8 teams a chance because these top teams need a chance to lose. Are they gonna? Rarely. Like I just said, the best team almost always wins, but it gets so annoying. Like you got to give them a chance to lose because it can happen. It can happen in a miracle situation, and if all they have to do is beat like a shitty 4 seed every year, or in Clemson's case, that'll be a good game. Clemson Ohio State will be a good game. But like in Alabama's case, they have a cakewalk to the national championship. They got to win essentially 1 game. So, but if you give them a chance that they got to win 2, even though they're clearly the better team, it diversifies it a little bit. So it just annoys me that it's only 4 teams. I feel like it just doesn't make college football and the playoffs exciting.
The fact that we're sitting here on December 21st, we're filming this, so the field was set December 20th. And the college championship is usually like second week of January, so that's a good 3 weeks away. Why can we not go to an 18 playoff? It makes
Yeah.
so much sense to say if you win your conference in the Power Five, you're in. Just like baseball, how adding the second wildcard team incentivized winning your division, incentivized winning your conference. If you're a Big 12 team and you know that, yeah, I'm not going to be one of the top four, but if I win my conference, I get in and I get a shot at one of those top four teams in the first round, that's awesome. Then say 3 wildcard teams to get to the even 8. One of those 3 wildcard teams at least has to be a non-Power 5 school, involve, someone who usually would never get the chance to go in. I just think it makes way too much sense. I don't know why college football hasn't done it from a money standpoint, just all those extra playoff games they're going to get that people want to see. Because I know you and I are the same. NFL takes precedence for us. I'm a Rutgers football fan. Like, I watch a lot of the Big Ten, but not so much, overall college football. I'm not all that into it. I don't understand why. Like, I don't care about regular bowl games that have no meaning. Show me the the teams who are actually competing for a championship, and that's what I'll watch. So I don't get why you wouldn't want to have more of those games that could suck in the casual fans like you and I, and how many millions of dollars of ad revenue they could get.
Yeah, and I just feel like it's a good way to like build additional college football dynasties. In the NFL there's only 32 teams. In college football there's hundreds. So like it just makes more sense because these players, it's like how Rutgers is trying to build a program right now. If you see a team succeeding more, you're going to get better prospects. You're going to get better talent surrounding your program. And if you see like these teams that are 6, 7, 8 seeds sneaking in, and maybe one day they beat the Alabama, maybe one day they beat the Clemson, they beat the Ohio State, that's going to put them on the map even more so than they already are. And you're going to have more dynasties in college football. But right now, the only 2 teams that have a consistent chance to have a dynasty is Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson, because they're the only teams that people see. They're the only teams that people, elite high school talent want to go to. So I don't know. It's a real problem with the format, and I think that's something that really needs to be adjusted. But moving on to the second game, or the 2 and 3 seeds, Ohio State, Clemson. Nick, what's your take on that?
So, like I said, I'm a big Big Ten fan. Obviously, went to Rutgers, so watched all those games. And then my little brother goes to Ohio State, so I watched pretty much every Ohio State game this year. They are one of the top teams that I actually was very in tune to. They looked horrible on Saturday. They just did not look good. They narrowly beat Northwestern. Yeah. Just refused to establish the run until late in the game. The running back ends up setting a Big Ten conference record for yards because Northwestern straight up couldn't tackle. But they're just, Justin Fields had a bad game. I know people are saying he's probably the number 2 quarterback prospect in the draft behind Trevor Lawrence. So I don't know. He didn't look good. The only positive for Ohio State is it is a very talented roster. They were missing still a lot of people because the Big Ten had that stupid rule where once you test positive for COVID, you're out for 21 days instead of the usual 10 or whatever the protocol is. So they were still down a lot of guys that they'll get back for the playoff. I think they'll give Clemson a game, but just from watching both these teams all year, I think Clemson definitely has the upper hand on the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and Clemson would have gone undefeated had Trevor Lawrence not had to be out for those 2 weeks. They won one of the weeks without him, but the other one they lost. They would have been undefeated. They would have been in the same spot as Alabama. It would have been like a toss-up who would have been the 1 seed. I still think it would have been Alabama, though. Mm-hmm. But my takeaway from this game, I agree with you. I think Clemson's going to win this game. Is that you're going to see the difference between what Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are. So Trevor Lawrence is what people like to call an NFL-ready quarterback, and Justin Fields is someone who is like a talented quarterback. And I think that there is a difference that people don't really understand. Trevor Lawrence makes throws on time. He makes them accurate. He hits people on the run. He throws deep balls, good screen passes, good slants. Everything he does is right. Justin Fields is somebody who has the potential to do all that right, while potential to be just an elite athlete on the field. So I think that people are going to really see in this game why Trevor Lawrence is this potential godsend to either the Jaguars or the Jets, and why Justin Fields is like kind of people are like, okay, there's a clear separation between the two. So I think I'm excited to see like that difference, like clear and focused. Is you're going to see Trevor Lawrence on a drive, then you're going to see Justin Fields on a drive, and I think it's going to be Trevor Lawrence is going to wipe him out of the water with it. So I'm pumped about seeing that and people finally understanding that difference. That Trevor Lawrence is light years ahead of everyone else in this draft class.
Right.
Yeah. So that's college football. We don't have to worry about that until after the New Year's. We'll move on to NFL football right now, and what's going on with that. One of the biggest games this week was the Chiefs-Saints. Nick, what's your takeaway from that game?
So I had a lot of different bets on the Chiefs all week just because initially when I thought they were starting Taysom Hill, and then even when they announced Breeze was playing, it was like I feel like every day for a week they announced he had broken another rib. So I'm like, I don't know how much confidence I have in Drew Brees to come in here with his however many broken ribs and outduel Patrick Mahomes. The Saints made it a game though. I mean, they did. That is a good team. You could tell Brees was a little bit out of sync at times, having missed a couple of weeks, but Drew Brees is still what he is, and that's one of the all-time greats at the quarterback position as well. I maintain, I think I've said this on the show every week, I don't know who's beating the Chiefs. I just don't know who's beating a team with Patrick Mahomes and that many weapons. I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, I agree. I was just thinking this before. I feel like the Chiefs are like they're the older brother or the older cousin, and like when you're playing your younger cousin or your younger brother or sibling in like a video game, where it's like in the beginning of the game, you sit back, you watch, like you just do whatever, you're checking your phone, like like you're letting the score just like kind of run out, and then like the younger cousin kind of like comes up and like beats you a little bit, or starts to make it a close game, and you're like, all right, no, enough of this. Like, all right, it's time to get going, and like you actually focus up, you actually start to make it passes. Like before, you were just chucking up, like throwing Hail Marys just to see how much you could beat them by what they weren't hitting, and then it's like they kind of start carrying towards like the third and fourth quarter once they realize that like, oh no, we might lose. Okay, let me start trying now. And then it's like they just blow teams out of the water. And it's like, okay, we knew we were gonna win the whole time. And I feel like that's the Chiefs every single week. The only variable is like how old like the cousin or sibling is. Like how talented that other team is. Like they're gonna win any game that they decide to play, and that they decide that they feel like winning. I don't see a team beating them.
No.
Yeah. I feel like it would be hard to make an argument against them. But, I mean, kudos to the Saints. I think they played decent. But, I mean, the Chiefs are just light years ahead of them. The biggest news out of New York this week was the Jets somehow beating the Rams and pretty much losing any chance they had at Trevor Lawrence. Now the Jaguars take over the first spot. I mean, I don't know about you, Nick, but I had the Rams in a parlay, and I cannot believe they lost. I just thought the Jets were a lock to bet against the entire year.
Mm-hmm. So my 6-team money line parlay actually hit this week for the first time in I don't know how long, and I would have added the Rams if not for the fact I think they were like minus 950. So I was like, this does nothing for the value of the parlay. I'm just not going to add them in because who knows. So props to my brain, I guess, for getting a parlay right for once. The question I haven't been hearing, and I need to ask it because it's been on my mind since the Jets won yesterday, are the Jets getting hot at the right time? Listen, they're a dangerous 1-13 team, could easily be 2-12 if not for Greg Williams pulling a cover 0 on the last play against the Raiders. You got to wonder whether or not this is the time. They beat a pretty good Rams team on the road. Can Adam Gase and this team make some noise in the playoffs? I think maybe.
If they're in the NFC East, they probably aren't mathematically eliminated yet.
They definitely wouldn't be. If we could transfer them to the NFC East and make it a 5-team race, I think that would be unbelievable. No, actually, they would be mathematically eliminated, but give them a chance.
Yeah, you really want them to pick up some momentum coming into next year's 3-13 season.
Yeah. No, in all honesty, I feel bad for Jets fans. I tweeted this last night. I said I've been there as a Knicks fan where it was like they were clearly the worst team in the NBA 2 years ago. Every Photoshop is Zion, Zion, Zion. You're getting Zion. He's generational. He's the best prospect to come out since LeBron. And then we get the third pick in the draft. So that was brutal. I would argue that's probably worse because the Knicks were the worst team in the NBA and they dropped 2 spots in the lottery, even though they get RJ Barrett, who I love, but he's not Zion, let's be honest about it. So Jets fans having to watch this shit show tell me for weeks that the only reason they haven't fired Adam Gase is so they can complete the tank. And then Adam Gase fucks them one last time and screws up the tank. So it's and like you just said before, there's a clear drop-off from Trevor Lawrence to Justin Fields. Justin Fields could be a very good NFL quarterback. He has the physical tools for that. Trevor Lawrence is the most pro-ready quarterback since probably Andrew Luck came out almost a decade ago. So it's tough for Jets fans. I feel bad for them, but it's so funny at the same time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's almost like not even funny anymore. It's almost how like the Falcons keep blowing leads, the Chargers keep blowing leads, the Jets somehow win these meaningless games and they get hot at the end of the year every single year. Like last year they were bad in the beginning and they finished 7-9. Like just pointless wins. Like just tank right. All you have to do is just lose and you win. Like it is just like such a slap in the face every year to Jets fans that their team is so incompetent, and it really sucks that you have to call a team incompetent for winning. I just feel like that's such a slap in the face to fans, to the players, and to like the whole organization. Like Mekhi Becton, the really good left tackle, he's like, I don't know what you guys want from us. Like, I don't think that you guys. Like he was on the fan. They put his quote on the fan. He's like, I don't think that you guys should be rooting for like this like rebuilding team to lose. Like we're out there like busting our ass every single game. We don't want to be losing. We're not losing on purpose. Like we want to get better. And like it just sucks that like you have to root against that. You know? And now they don't know what the hell to root for. Like if I'm the Jets at this point, if I'm not getting the second pick, I'm sorry, if I'm not getting the first pick, I might as well just win the last two games. I like just try to pick up some momentum, see what you really have and what you need to address in the draft. Like at the best, what do the Jets look like?
No, yeah. Listen, you're totally right, and like I was on Becton's side with this. I think most Jet fans understood it. Like I saw, like New York fans, like we're a little irrational. We're not stupid. I think most fans know that just because a team is tanking doesn't mean you're gonna have players on the field actively trying not to win. Like this is their guy's job. Like Mekhi Becton was the first round pick in the draft. You think he's gonna go out there and have a shit season on purpose? You think these guys who might have nothing to do with the 2021 Jets are gonna go out there and throw games? Like, yeah, I know Greg Williams probably did that because he hates Adam Gase, but he got fired the next day. Even Adam Gase, as much of a shitbag as he is, as incompetent as he is, I don't blame him for not wanting to lose a game. Like, he doesn't want to go down as an 0-16 head coach. He's trying to get another job in the league next year, as impossible as that may be. So, like, tanking needs to come from an upper organizational place. Like, if you were if the Johnsons, you should say, like, we're firing Adam Gase. We'll bring in an interim coach. We'll promote him and say, hey, listen, we're trying to lose these games, and say, like, we'll give you we'll give you a coordinator job next year. Like, if you can help us out with this. Like, that's what you have to do. You have to say, Sam Darnold, like, Sam's shoulders acting up. Like, we're going to play, I don't know, Jamarcus Russell. We're going to bring him out of retirement. Like, it's like, that's how you tank. But I don't expect any player on the field to, like, take a dive for a team they might have nothing to do with next year when these guys are playing for their jobs every single week. So if you're a fan that's coming after players on the team because they're trying to win and performing well, you're just an asshole. There's no way around it. Like, yeah, you should be mad the team lost, but you can't be mad at the individual players for trying because they're always going to and they always should.
Yeah, so I mean, it sucks for Jets fans, but I mean, I put no blame on the players. You're right. It's got to come from an organizational standpoint to really tank right, and obviously leave it to the Jets to not do that right.
Of course.
Moving on to another team that's suffered a lot of failures over the years, the Cleveland Browns. Even though they're 10-4 this year, there's a good chance that they don't make the playoffs. The Steelers are 11-2 right now. They play tonight. We're recording on Monday Night Football against the Bengals. Likely going to win that game. Probably going to be 12-2. The Ravens are 9-5. They still have to play the Jets. I mean, again, now who knows what the hell is going to happen with that if the Jets are going to really give their best.
Jets are hot.
Yeah, Jets are hot. So, I mean, who knows? Ravens are not. Ravens are still the better team. They're likely going to win that game. So, I mean, if it comes down to it, if the Ravens and the Browns have the same record, the Ravens are going to get in. So, I mean, the Browns could easily be an 11-5 team and miss the playoffs. So, I mean, that is the most Cleveland Browns thing I've ever heard. They're finally get it all done right, and they don't make it.
Yeah, I mean, the Browns did what you expected to a Colt McCoy-led Giants team on Sunday Night Football. They won pretty handily. Baker played another great game. They were able to run the ball. Their defense looked good. The Browns, I can't believe I'm really coming around on this. They're a good football team. They have Myles Garrett's an absolute game changer on the edge. You have Baker Mayfield, who's really come into his own this year. And you don't have cocky Baker anymore. You have confident Baker. He's the quarterback that we kind of all thought he might be when he got drafted number 1 a few years ago. He looks really, really good. They've done a great job surrounding him with talent. but it would be the most city of Cleveland thing ever for the Browns. It's their first winning season in like 2 decades. They're actually a good team. They've won 10 games, probably going to win at least 11, and they could miss the playoffs. So it would just be unbelievable if the 10-6 or 11-5 Cleveland Browns were not a playoff team.
Yeah, God hates Cleveland. What are you going to do?
God really does hate Cleveland.
Moving on to people who did win their division, the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if this answers the Brady-Belichick debate, but it certainly adds some weight to it. The first time that the Bills have won it in 25 years. I think the first time that the Patriots haven't won it in, what was it, like 10 or 12? I forget the number, how many years it's been. But bottom line, it's been a very long time, if it wasn't like a notable number. So the Bills kind of starting to really take shape. I think that they're the future of that division. The Patriots on the way down, Jets, God knows. So the Bills are kind of, that team that's going to lead that division for a long time. Josh Allen is the truth. 4,000 yards right now, 30 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He's making Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley look like absolute studs, like a top 5 receiving course. And they don't even have John Brown, who's supposed to be another good receiver, and he hasn't been healthy in a long time. Bills Mafia has been partying like it's 1999. And if there's one fan base you don't want to let loose during a pandemic, it's them. Like they are just loose. Like they are doing anything they want. So shout out to the Bills. Maybe Bills Mafia, calm down a little bit. Still a pandemic.
No, I think we said this last week too. If there's any team in the AFC that has a chance at beating the Chiefs, it's the Bills. Their defense is really rounding into shape. Josh Allen is a superstar. There's no two ways around it. I think he's outperformed anyone's expectations of what he might be when he got drafted a couple years ago. Stephon Diggs has been huge for them. He really shows how big of an impact acquiring a top receiver like him can have on a young quarterback, because that offense has skyrocketed ever since he got there. And apparently Bills Mafia, or I don't know, I guess the Bills are putting out feelers to potential stadium workers, concession workers for a playoff game if Cuomo lets fans in the building. And look, I think you have to. You physically have to. It would be an absolute crime for the Bills to host their first playoff game in 25 years and not have Bills Mafia there. I don't care what science says. Here's the real science. Bills Mafia cannot spread coronavirus when they're making the playoffs for the first time in 25 years, or winning the division for the first time in 25 years. That is a stone cold fact. I would bet anything Dr. Fauci will sign that and agree with that. There is a 0% chance coronavirus spreads between Bills Mafia when they're division champs. That's just a fact.
I can't wait to freezing cold takes on you on that.
Zero, I promise.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they get a home game too, and I hope that fans can be there. But I mean, regardless, the Bills are running away with that division. It's awesome to see, and it's exciting to see Josh Allen's going to be a stud for a long time. And you're right. The only team that can compete with the Chiefs. So I think that honestly they're the only two teams that I find exciting in the AFC. I think the Ravens are just they were exciting, but now they're kind of just like, what the hell are they? So I mean, it's the Bills and the Chiefs. So I don't know. I'm rooting for the Bills, but I mean, Chiefs are going to win. Nick, you wanted to touch on Rutgers too?
Yeah, sure. So Rutgers basketball came out ranked number 11 today. It's the highest they've been since 1975-76 season, when they actually made the Final Four, as crazy as that sounds. They're legitimate. They're 6-0. They've won 3 pretty big matchups with Syracuse, Maryland, and then beating number 13 Illinois at home yesterday. Illinois has been kind of one of my almost Final Four picks because they have Kofi Cober and Ayo Dosunmu, 2 of the better players in the country. Miles Johnson, Rutgers, shout out him. He really did a great job shutting down Coburn pretty much all game, had a minimal impact on it. Was just really, it's crazy to see. Like Rutgers, the way I can best describe Rutgers basketball is like the chunky kid from high school who like was a nice kid, but like no one ever really gave attention to, like girls didn't give attention to, like coming home Thanksgiving Eve, senior year of college, and seeing he just like figured out how to work out in college and he's just ripped. Like he's jacked now. Like not only is he not fat, he's like a good looking guy. Like that is Rutgers basketball right now. Like not only have they made themselves competent and competitive like they have been the past few years, they're right there now. Like I say with a completely straight face, I wouldn't be shocked if they're a Final Four team. I just wouldn't be. Like, they have that kind of talent this year. So, like, they're going to be in the mix in the Big Ten. The Big Ten is very deep. Iowa lost to Gonzaga the other day, but they kept it close enough. Iowa's going to be right there at the end. Illinois is still going to be really good. Wisconsin, Michigan State, even though they lost yesterday. The Big Ten is the best it's been in a long time, and Rutgers is right there in the thick of it, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, good for them. I always love seeing Rutgers do well. But moving on to NBA basketball. We got the season starting December 22nd when this is going to come out, so it's Tuesday night. So me and Nick are going to do some bold takes for the upcoming NBA season. I'll start with mine. First one, I think Chris Paul and Devin Booker are going to form an unbreakable bond in Phoenix, buy a condo out in Scottsdale, adopt a child by season's end, fall in love, and live a nice, happy life together.
Wow. Good for those two.
Yeah, you can see it in their eyes. I think they're already got something there. A little magic.
Good for them. So my number one is that Kyrie Irving is going to miss a solid 20-game chunk of the season, and not because of an injury. He's going to stay healthy. I think he's going to take a break to start his own yoga and sage mental health series on YouTube. Really be important for people to get through this pandemic, just daily videos of Kyrie, different kind of oils to burn, things to just take people's mind off everything going on. So good for Kyrie.
Yeah, we should subscribe. We should get him on the show.
I would love to get Kyrie on the show.
You got his number?
Yeah.
All right, just text him. We know Kyrie like that, so it's like whatever.
Yeah, not a big deal.
My next one, Adam Silver is going to get a hand transplant and buy Just for Men and legally change his name to Adam Silver Fox.
Okay. Cool.
Sexy. He's going to be sexy.
He's hot.
Sexiest commissioner in NBA history. Right after David Stern.
Hey, no, David Stern was pretty hot. David Stern was hot.
They're gonna be it's gonna be like 1A, 1B, you know.
Yeah, no, rest in peace. He was hot though. So next one, James Harden, wherever he's traded, because I do still think he's gonna be traded. He's going to do more than anyone else in their respective city to stimulate small business. And by stimulate small business, I mean he is going to inject thousands of dollars into whatever the top strip club in that city is, because James Harden single-handedly himself will bring back any strip club going out of business in any city he plays in.
Yeah, should I make a joke about it not being the only thing that's going to be stimulated?
His penis?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Nice one. Nice.
Yeah, fine. All right. Next one is my final one. We're finally going to get to see the LeVar Ball Michael Jordan showdown, but it's going to be a pay-per-view matchup like the Tyson fight. And I'm going to pay all the money for it.
I would pay so much money for that. I love LeVar Ball.
I love Michael Jordan, and I love LeVar Ball. If you told me they were going to play a game to 5, I would pay $50 for that.
LeVar,
put it on whatever you want. I'd pay $60, $70, $80, $100 for that.
LeVar on First Take with Stephen A. When Stephen A. is asked, he's just throwing hypotheticals at him because he knows how ridiculous it is, and asks him who would win one-on-one, him or Zion. And LeVar straight face immediately says me because he's too strong for Zion. I lost my shit. It's one of the best clips ever.
All right, got that, LeVar Ball. Too strong for the strongest player in the NBA. Got it.
Yep, got it.
Got it.
And then so my last one is going to be Bucks fans get a full 2 weeks off without speculation that Giannis is going to request a trade. So good for Bucks fans. It's been the past couple of years where people are like, is he going to go to the Warriors, going to the Heat, maybe the Mavs, team up with Luka? Signs a 5-year Supermax. Really good for the league to see a guy stay in a small market, 2-time MVP. But after the Bucks lose no less than 5 regular season games, if they fall to the number 2 seed in the conference, people are going to be speculating that he's going to demand a trade at season's end. So
you can tell you can tell he's not happy there. He's going to Miami.
It's going to be, that will be like January 15th. You'll get that report.
You're going to see like Duncan Robinson trade offers. That's it for our show. Happy holidays to everyone. Stay home, stay safe, do what you got to do. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, so on and so forth.
Enjoy this clip. We have a commercial about a revolutionary product that if you take it, it's a pill, it's a vitamin. If you take it, you will win in anything you do, whether it be gambling, whether it be, school, getting good grades on tests, video games, anything you want to do. Endorsed by Sam Darnold. We got Sam himself in the video. So check that out. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Happy Festivus on Wednesday. So enjoy, guys. We appreciate the support and looking to take it into the new year.
Yeah, and also want to note with this skit, we did not know. We filmed it while the Jets were winning.
Yeah.
But it was before we knew. We assumed they were going to blow it, and they didn't. So just take that into account. We didn't.
Some are saying this clip is the reason the Jets won the game. So I'm sorry / you're welcome.
Enjoy.
Are you somebody that's always losing? A game of Madden, same game parlays, fantasy sports? Then you need VitaWin, a new state-of-the-art vitamin that guarantees you a victory. Don't believe me? Let's go to one of the biggest losers in sports to see just how VitaWin affects him. Are you an athlete who can't find a way to win?
Who the hell are you?
Are you afraid of being an incredible bust?
How'd you get into my house?
Is your team an overall piece of shit?
Dude, did Adam Gates send you here?
Then you need VitaWin. Good catch, Sam. VitaWin is a new state-of-the-art vitamin that guarantees you a victory in anything that you do.
Why should I listen to some random guy who just broke into my house and gave me a bottle of pills?
Sam, you're about to lose your job to Trevor Lawrence. What do you think you should do?
This is not the kind of history you want to be involved in, but it is the 13th straight loss for the Jets. That's now a franchise record. I just thoughts on just being involved with something like that.
I mean, yeah, we got to be better.
I'm starting to think these VitaWin pills are just a total scam.
Did you say VitaWin?
Yeah, why?
Dude break into your house, give you those?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, those aren't vitamins. That's acid. VitaWin. It's not acid.